questions. Please state your affiliation before you ask the question. Coach.
All right, how's everyone doing?
Good.
All right, good, man. It's a great day, great day. I'm gonna apologize right from the front end with the hoarse voice. We had one heck of a morning workout today, man. It was really good, but there was a lot of screaming and yelling going on, so I lost my voice a little bit here temporarily, but just bear with me. So today, great day in our program. Very exciting. We view today as the start of something, not the finish. I know, to go through the recruiting process is kind of the culmination of recruiting for these guys, but really it's the start. It's the start of a long relationship with these guys and their families and them being a part of our program and what we're building here. It's always hard. I've been part of this a couple times, first time as a head coach, but on several staffs, as you come in your first year and guys get in there December, January, you're kind of catching the tail end of a recruiting class. It's always a difficult thing. Everywhere I've been, it's kind of been the same way. I'm really proud of our staff and all recruiting staff, coaching staff, all those that have been involved in recruiting to be able to put together the class we did is really, I believe, tremendous. The guys we brought in are about the right things. They're about what we're building here, and they're definitely going to help us go win a lot of games and compete for championships. As we went out and looked on the road, it was real simple what we're looking for here, and that's looking for guys with four things. Guys that play with great effort, they do things in their life with great effort. They put effort and enthusiasm in what they do, and that's first and foremost. That's the staples of our program. And the same things I'm talking about we look for in recruiting are the same things we're looking for in our own roster and the same things we're trying to build with our guys here. The second thing is toughness. We want guys that play, this is a tough man's game. We want guys that play physical, play tough, both mentally and physically tough. So those, a lot of that becomes questions you ask the coaches and the people around the school, but also what you see and how you see them play. And you guys have probably seen the film of a lot of these guys. You can tell they're physical football players. I mean, they mix it up. They're not scared to go put their face on someone. The third thing, and maybe one of the most important, is we look for guys that are competitive. Just guys that love to compete, maybe play multiple sports. The types of guys that hate to lose at anything they do. And I really believe that is a characteristic that's just some do, some don't, and that's one of those things that I believe can withstand whatever environment you're in. You bring competitive people in an environment, they'll find a way to get to the top somehow, some way, even if they may be deficient in some area. And so we're looking for competitive guys. And then the last thing, number 4 on that list, was guys that do things right. You mix all that in, and you need to find guys that understand, do things right, not only in football, but academically, off the field, just guys that understand, respect authority, and understand the rules to what they're doing, and do things right. And so that's what we're building our team around, and so obviously that's what we're looking for around the road recruiting, and I really feel from top to bottom, you look at this class, the depth of this class in terms of, we have representation at every position across the board. And for us, it was really about just finding the best players and the guys that fit those 4 things the best, where you can check off each one of those boxes and say, this guy fits what we're doing. So, I can't tell you how excited we are as a staff to bring these guys in. And again, like I said, it's the start of something, start the relationship with those guys. So, with that, I'll open up for questions.
Coach Gene Wong of the Washington Post. Being the coach in Maryland, how special and important is it for you to keep players in state to come here and represent their state in college?
Yeah, it's huge. That's our number one thing. We're going to build this program around the guys in our own backyard at the DMV. It's interesting because you look at, and you talk to the people in this area, and everyone has such great pride from being from this area, especially right now we're talking in terms of high school football. Everyone has a tremendous amount of pride of the depth and the level of talent year in year out from this area, and it's true. And I think people feel a little bit under-respected on national terms. Like everyone talks about different areas of the country, and we don't get our credit. And I agree. And I really believe the main reason for that is in the past our guys have continued to spread out and go different places. And I think it's our job to build a program, put a product on the field that guys can be proud of, and where all those guys from here will want to come play for the hometown team. Because that's what's going to get this thing on the map the right way and give us the credit we deserve in this area of having, arguably the top talent in the country year in and year out in terms of high school football. So, it's priority number 1, and it's something we talk about every single day in this building.
Hey, Coach Keith, Derek, since you had less than 2 months to deconstruct and reconstruct the entire process, 2 weeks ago you had Just talk a little bit about the process, including the kids you inherited right when you got here, some of the tough decisions you had to make, but then finishing so many guys in the last 2 weeks.
Right, I mean, you know, here's the thing, as you're going to class, you're looking for a certain fit, and it goes more than just what someone does on tape. Obviously, the evaluation and talent is a huge part of this, but it goes far beyond that, and it's not good on either end when you know, if you get involved in a relationship where one side or the other is not real happy or it's not what they're looking for, it's not good for either side of it. And so, you know, yeah, there were some tough decisions made, and that was something that we had to work through, but, you know, it's part of it. I think everyone's better off because of it. I think on both sides of it, you know, there were some that went other ways, and that's great. And I think the guys we all got here, they know what they're getting into, and they want to be a part of this thing. You know, they embrace that challenge and being part of building something and turning this thing. And so, you know, again, it's part of it. And like I said, I've been through this a couple of times now with this timing. It's something that happens, and you know what, the class we were put together with the staff, I think is tremendous.
Coach, Chris Marks, Bridgewood Television, CTV, you were able to get several players out of DeNapa to stay in the county and come to Maryland, and also were able to get Antoine Brooks from Duval, who was on his way to a great year before his injury. Can you talk about those players and what you're expecting out of them next season for you?
Yeah, what a thrill to be able to get all those DeNapa guys as part of this class. I mean, you know, Elijah Brooks and his program there, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And being right down the road, and it's been some time since there's been a DeNapa player in this program. I can tell you one thing, we're going to be going back there next year too. You know, and we're going to, you know, try and stay clean there as much as we can. So, you know, with Terrence Davis and Tino Ellis, DJ Turner, Lorenzo Harrison, I mean, those are all guys that are top-notch football players that can went to a lot of places, and we were able to keep them right here at home. And they're going to contribute probably early for us when they're going to have that opportunity. And then you mentioned Antoine. I mean, guys, that's a great football player right there. But obviously, I mean, suffered a traumatic injury. We feel really comfortable where he's at in his rehab process. I know, you know, a lot of people probably dropped off on him because of that injury. But you know what? You spend some time with that kid and talk to people around the community about that kid. That's a determined guy now. And I can't wait until he's here producing for us, because that's going to be one of the great stories in college football right there. I can't tell you how happy we already have him.
Back on the entire sports report. Could you elaborate a little bit on the footprint you guys were able to make in the state of Florida? Did you anticipate having as many as 7 guys in this class? And do you think this class kind of has made a pipeline from Florida to Maryland?
Yeah, a couple things there. I mean, I guess the number, I don't know. I mean 7 is a great number. I think that's another great area of football, obviously, year in and year out. We kind of view Florida maybe as our second home. But yeah, it was where we're at in this thing. And obviously, speaking for myself and then other members of our staff have great recruiting ties down in that state from time spent down there. And so, you know, it became, when you come in the tail end here, it's like you're leaning a lot on people you know and trust, because you don't have the time to do the background really that you normally do. You know, if I offer a guy today that's a junior, that gives me 12 full months to really investigate, talk to teachers, coaches, parents, whatever, get to know the full, you know, characteristics of the guy and what he's about and what he stands for, more than just when you click on the tape and say yes or no about a guy. When you come at the end, you don't get that. You don't get that luxury. You're at the end, you got to make decisions. Yeah, we like the guy. No, we don't. You tend to lean on people you know and trust that are going to tell you the truth. And so I think that's kind of how this stuff leans. I mean, you know, we got 10 guys here in our backyard, which is great. I want that number obviously to be even higher. And then obviously 7 down in Florida. I mean, we spent some time out there, so it was time well spent.
Coach, to your right. Dave Ginsburg, Associated Press. 6 defensive backs recruited. Would you say you went into the process making that at least one of your top priorities, if not the top priority?
Yes. Yes. We need as many guys as possible that can run and cover to play the style of defense we want to play. So it was definitely a priority. And I'll tell you the truth, it would be a priority again next year. You know, and just where we're at with things. And so and that was definitely emphasis, as well as some other areas, but the defensive backs in particular was something we talked about right from the get-go. Just based on numbers on our roster, we're below, you know, without us even getting on the field with our guys and knowing exactly what we have, just based on numbers, we were down at defensive back.
Coach, to your left, Daniel Martin from CSN. You guys obviously had to make a late audible at the quarterback position, but then with 2 two guys. Could you trace a little bit how things progressed to getting with Terrell and with Max, and what each of those players bring?
Yeah, I think one of the great things about Coach Bell, defensive coordinator, is he's very adaptive. He adapts to the players he has, and I think that's probably the number one characteristic that as a coach, the most value a coach can bring, at least in terms of on the field, is a guy that can be adaptive to what he has. Not just someone, this is my system, and then you're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. That doesn't usually work. And so, he's been part of offenses where maybe the main focus was a quarterback that can run and was athletic, and part of offenses where the quarterback was a pocket passer and didn't run very often. And so, that's the great part about him, and a lot of reasons why he was the guy that was hired. And so, you start looking at quarterback with the guys we got with Max and Tyrell. I mean, I tell you what now, those guys, they can do some things. I mean, Max can spin it and throw it down the field. He's a 6'3" guy that's been very productive and about all the right things. Just top-notch student, great kid, great family. And then Piggy down in Alabama. I don't know if you guys watch his tape or not, but that guy's electric. I mean, he's unbelievable. And so I can't tell you how that worked out with him, and just that was in the works for a long time, and getting that all worked out. And a guy from the South and several states away, and for him to make that decision, it tells you a lot about him, and he wants to go do it. That guy has great confidence, and I think that'll be a household name around here real soon.
Coach Brody Logan, Fox 5. Going back to Antoine Brooks, you mentioned how hard it was to assess players with the short span you have, but then this is a player who received a late offer and had the injury, and just what was that assessment like, and then how much of that is on the character, and especially everything he's having to overcome with that gruesome injury?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge part of it. It just, I can't tell you how many coaches in the area. I mean, we spend so much time and are going to continue to spend a ton of time speaking with and getting to know and making ties with the coaches in this area. We have great coaches. We have great high school football. We have and not just high school, from Pee Wee on down. I mean, there's so many people involved with football in this area, and so we're spending time talking about all those. And I can't tell how many times it came up. Guys speaking on behalf of Antoine, just talking about what a great kid he is, a competitor, a guy that everyone has great respect for. So we'd have been crazy not to fully investigate and look at it. And as we kept doing it more and more, I became more and more comfortable saying, this is something that we need to do. We are about this area. It's not just, we're not just talking about it. We really are. And that's a kid from our backyard that, is a great person, great player, and needed something, a program to believe in him. And I don't want to say take a chance. It's not take a chance. It's just someone to believe in him and say, we're going to stand by this kid and help him through a tough time. That's why we did it. That's what we're here for. And I'll tell you what, I know it'll work out great for him and for us.
Coach, as far as Richardson, former Michigan commit, had the injury this year, what do you see in him as he's clearly a guy with great potential?
Yeah, he's got tremendous coverage ability. I was able to see firsthand at a camp last summer. So watched him against some pretty good talent, and tremendous coverage ability and great competitor. He's one of those guys that was fighting and cutting in line to take more reps and just kept going and going. And so he caught my eye way back then. Obviously, he was a guy that I had offered back there at the university I was at the time, and always kept my eye on him. He's top-notch character. He's got a great mom. He comes from a great program down there at Atlantic. His coach is a great guy. They just, they're people that do things the right way. And so for him to be part of our program, and he's here now. He's a mid-year graduate. He's in classes and wearing his winter gear, getting used to the weather up here and all that. But he's got a big smile on his face and doing great. Good. He's on track. He's coming along. I mean, the thing about his injury is it was in the summertime. It was in June, so it really wasn't even a season type injury. So he'll be at 12 months this June. And part of the big reason of him being mid-year and being up here now is so he can be with our training staff, our doctors, and we can really help him that way. And so we're going to just take it as it comes and not push it too hard, and we'll just see where he's at. But it's not unrealistic to say that he can play and help us because of when the injury occurred. It wasn't something during the season.
Going back to the defensive backs, you're a defensive guy, and with you and Coach Schaefer, what exactly do you look for in the defensive back? What's kind of the common thread between the guys that you're bringing in?
guys that play with great effort, that are tough, competitive, and do things right. That's what we're looking for. And then, you know, in particular, defensive back, I mean, the competitiveness really has to stand out for a DB. It's got to be a guy that enjoys being lined up out there, getting his hands on a guy playing one-on-one and saying, let's go get it, you know. And if he happens to get beat on a certain play, it rolls right off the back, let's go line up the next time. And so that's one of the biggest things. There's obviously, you know, some things talent-wise in terms of coverage ability and movement and being able to flip their hips and their feet and all those things we look for. But again, they've got to have all those characteristics to play that position. We're going to play an aggressive style, and a lot of it depends on your DBs.
Coach Ryan Connor was just your time. I'm curious what the process was like of finding Australian hunter grade bees.
Yeah. It was great. You guys, I'm sure you've probably seen some highlights of him playing Australian rules football. Yeah, that guy's awesome, man. You know, he's a name that I came across a while ago. It's probably become a more common practice thing now in college football. There's been more and more Australian rules football guys that have made the trip over and been successful. And we had one at the place I was at before, and so through their coaches and kind of that network, he got on the radar screen for us. And he was a guy that I reached out to really right away, just because I know we have a need there, and I knew he could be a mid-year guy and kind of what his situation was. And so we're thrilled to have him. He'll be a tremendous asset for us.
Anything else?
Coach, just a rapid fire here. Will you redshirt any of these guys? Will you add any more kids? And what was your favorite, craziest story from that snow weekend when you had all the kids here?
To be determined on both those first two questions. I mean, those are things that we'll decide as you know, obviously as we go move down the road. The snow weekend, yeah. A lot of places canceled their visits. We didn't. We stayed tough. We are a blue-collar program, in case anyone was wondering. All right, so we were here, and we basically had the roads paved, or not paved. We had the roads plowed from here to the hotel right here on campus. So everything else was snowed in, but there was a path to get back and forth. We spent a lot of quality time together, either in the hotel or right here in this building. We did a lot of things. We had a couple of recruits stand up and sing, kind of put on a little talent show for us, and it was a great way. We got creative with it, but I'll tell you what, all in all, when the weekend was over, I mean, it was a unique experience for everyone involved, and we got to know each other better than ever before on recruiting weekend, because usually there's so much other going on. You go and eat here, do this, do that, they're going with their host. Well, we were all kind of here snowed in together, just spent good time together, and the weekend was very successful for us. So looking back, we would do it all again the same way. I do. I'll give you a hint so you can figure it out. They're twins. What song? Oh, they sang My Girl by the Temptations. There you go, man. Give it all to you. Full access here, Ray. Anything else?
All right, thanks. So,
All right, guys, thank you.
for those that schedule one-on-one, just make your way down here. We're doing a